Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Osu Mapcast. I'm the host Cinnabun, and in this episode I'm joined by NAT and popular mapper pishifat. Please introduce yourself, man.
Hello, my name is pishifat. I'm not going to say hello there, but nice to be on the show.
Hey, thanks. And tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
I've been a mapper since, late 2013. The last day of 2013 is when I uploaded my first map. And since then I've been doing lots of various mapping-related things that aren't strictly mapping. So you've probably heard of who I am if you're watching the Osu Mapcast. That sounds super cocky to say, wow. But yeah, hello.
All right, and so getting right and started here into the first question, how did you first get into Osu?
So first, I was introduced to Osu by a friend of mine who I went to high school with. His name on Osu is Ringating. Some mappers might know him because he made maps or made backgrounds for a lot of maps. So we registered our accounts on the same day basically, and I've just competed with him for a while. Then, yeah, basically. And we played all the same maps, that sort of thing. So eventually, we registered our accounts summer 2013, I'd say. Yeah. And then that next semester of school started September. We were in the same class once, and we just played in that class all the time.
Some Osu references all day.
Yeah. And then, I don't know when it was, but I'd say around a month after I started really getting into Osu, I met someone who I'd played a different game with. It was called Xmodo. We played 5 years ago, and he just was playing the game at the same time Osu, that is. And so we were at the same level. It's cool. I get to talk to someone about Osu who I already know. So I played with Osu with that guy a lot. And I guess I'd say having people who I know on my skill level really was able to make me stick with the game.
I can imagine, yeah. And what are some things you do outside of Osu?
Nothing now, because I don't leave the house.
True.
I used to go fishing at Irvine Lake every other weekend, and I volunteered at a bird rehabilitation center. But I'm not doing those now because you can't go outside.
But hey, the birds will be fine.
Yeah, the birds, they're not going to be fine, though.
No?
There's so many problems with the birds. Anyway, what else am I doing? I'm in Joshua Tree with my parents because that's where they live. And it's much nicer here than in the big city where there's diseases flying in the air, etc. I'm just here. It's nice. I get more socializing here than I did actually where I was because I'm with my parents every night, and my girlfriend's here too. So there's lots of talking going on despite being stuck in one house.
Hey, that's always good. Keep yourself busy.
Yeah. So what have I done? I built a dome. That's an important one. I think
a dome for what?
For fun. It was my dad's idea.
You can go inside it and all that, or for
Yeah. So when my dad was, I don't know, 10 or something like that, he lived on a farm, and he built a dome with his dad and his brother. And so he's I want to relive that experience of building the dome.
So you built a dome with your dad?
Yeah. It was a test dome. We're building many domes, you see. And so this dome is we built a half dome. You can see pictures of it. I showed a work in progress one on Twitter at some point. And so we have that. We have another one, which I have a picture of the really low quality paper model. It's benches, and it's supposed to be a wind blocking thing. This is all nonsense to you because you can't see the pictures, but hopefully it makes sense to people listening to this.
It will see later. Yeah.
Anyway, I built a dome. Yeah, that was fun. I'm doing puzzles. I have a hunting camera that I've been looking at birds with. I can show you some of those birds right now. Look at them.
Hey. Everyone knows you likes birds. I'm looking at them.
No, you're not, but thanks for the backup. They're Gambel's quails, which are California quails, but better because they're birds. Okay. Anyway,
right. So why do you like birds so much? What got you into that?
My girlfriend liked birds, and we went to many birding places. And birds are cool. Okay, there's so many species of birds.
They are cool. Fair enough.
So many species. Anyway.
Okay, so getting back into Osu now.
So go on.
How did you find yourself getting into mapping?
Getting into map. Well, it's basically the same as getting into Osu. Ringating showed me some maps he made, and I tried making some of my own. The difference between us though was that I wanted like everyone to see my maps, and he just wanted to show like his friends. So I dived more into the social and modding areas. My first map actually had one of Ringating's guest difficulties, and I tried to rank it for months despite it being like complete garbage that could not be salvaged. So while trying to rank that map and a few others, I met a lot of other people, many of which ended up being in the BAT when that opened in the like mid 2014. So I got voted into the BAT shortly afterwards, and I was basically as into mapping as a new guy could get.
And you just stuck with it ever since, with like that whole kind of like community.
Yeah. I think the community part of mapping is a lot more entertaining than mapping itself. Just for me, at least. For other people, maybe it's different.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with that. And you've mapped like so much over the years, and you have a crazy amount of maps. So what are like some maps that you would say are your best or like you're most proud of that people should like know you by?
I don't really have a good answer to this. Basically, the answer to that question is always like one of my latest maps, because that's the one that I'm personally most proud of. Because I don't know, I get tired of my old maps after I've seen them for a bit, and then I like whatever newest thing I've made because it's fresh and stuff like that. So I'd say my graveyarded map of Your Familiar Face by Native Construct, that's like one of my favorites right now. What else? There's like a map I've been working on that's not uploaded. I like that one so far. Otherwise, I don't really know. I like Omaginai by Namarin. I like that map. It has like a cool gimmick progression in the choruses with like spaced 1/4.
Concept mapping.
So cool, man. I don't really have much of a strong opinion on this question though.
Fair enough. And do you have like any maps you've made that you've like regretted making, or like you wish you could have remapped them in different ways?
Injection? But okay. Besides Injection, I think like all my oldest maps suck. Like everyone thinks that, right? They suck, but it's like I wouldn't want to remap them because I like being able to note my own progression.
You see, you've been getting better and better.
Yeah. yeah. I don't know. One map that I think like gets more attention than it should is my map of Z's Zauberkugel.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce it properly. But a lot of mappers and players like that, and I'm like, I don't know, I didn't put as much thought into that as maybe it seems, but I guess the end result effort doesn't really make the end result better or not. That's what that map feels like.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are there any maps you made that you think like changed mapping or like the style of mapping in any like kind of notable way at the time or overall?
No, not really. I don't think I'm much of an influential OSU person because of maps I've made. Like, more people have been influenced by what I say in videos, but my maps are just like, they're maps. I got 70-something ranked. I don't know. And I don't know, what's one of my maps that you think you're interested in, that you've been influenced by?
I really like, I forgot what the name of it was, one of your guest difficulties on... Oh, I forgot the name of it, but I'll put it up later.
So influential you forgot the name. Oh, man. Oh, man.
I love the song and the map, but I just cannot remember it right now because I just got...
Okay, sing it to me.
In this right now. I said, what are some maps that you think like changed the way mapping has gone over the years?
I'd say like maybe the closest thing... It's not really the way you're thinking. You're thinking like, wow, a map that's so good that people are influenced by it. I don't really think I have any of those. I have a stacking abuse map, which made a lot of people choose to enable stacking in the editor because the map just didn't make sense otherwise. Like, objects were off screen because you had stacking disabled, that sort of thing. Hey, editor, side by side, the map with stacking and map without stacking. Please, thank you. Yeah, that map is influential in some way. Maybe not the way you're thinking, though.
Okay, so then moving on to like content side. What got you to start making OSU related videos on your channel?
OSU videos, right. I used to make videos for Call of Duty Zombies since I was one of the guys who would like play for high rounds and make strategies and all that. So one of the most fun parts of being in that community was, I'd say, making videos, because that's how all information was communicated through YouTube videos. So I already had like the video making ability, and I was like, yes, I want to be able to relive this experience of making videos and whatever that is. And so I didn't actually do it for a while. I was kickstarted by a Reddit post asking people to explain their mapping processes, which came at like the perfect time for me because I had been a mapper for a few years and I thought I knew a lot of stuff, and I didn't really have other priorities at the time. So I allowed myself to dedicate basically any time I wasn't doing schoolwork to making videos. What else? I guess I'd always been dissatisfied with like how little relevant mapping information came my way as a new mapper. Because like I struggled for months just to rank as a garbage map, and the mods I got just told me like move this to X324. Like what? This is, I got mods that didn't help me. That's all. So I wanted to tell mappers things that would have helped old me at the time. So I one thing that really helped with making those videos though was like I improved and optimized my writing and production processes like over the first year of making videos, so it was really engaging to do it. So that's why I was able to do it so long for.
Did you edit your videos yourself?
Of course. I mean, I don't think anyone else was involved in them besides like the interview videos. I made like a skinning video for some Osu Skins channel, and they did all the editing for that, but I don't know where that one is now even. It's like deleted, I think.
And are there any videos you made that you think still like stand today, like just gone through and they can still be referred to?
Maybe this is a controversial opinion, but like I think most of my videos still have applicable information. Like, okay, sure, the history videos that end with the current state of mapping are super outdated, and some tutorial-y ones are, I guess, too conservative by today's standards, but otherwise they're not really like out of place. Okay, they're out of place, but not too out of place.
Nothing wild.
Yeah. Like it could just be me saying that because it's my opinions, and I still map similarly to how I did a few years ago. But yeah, I don't know. The videos that stand out as problems are probably the ones that say like wide angles suck, wide angles are terrible, or irregular rhythm should be mapped passively. That's like a big one that people don't like. And 1/4 sliders that don't map 1/4 sounds should be avoided, because all those are basically in like every map nowadays. And like even my maps nowadays, I don't stick to those old conservative ideas anymore. Regardless, though, they're like a time capsule. So like if a mapper wants to know how did 2016 mapper think about things, they go back to those videos and they're like, they suck. Cool.
Everything was so weird back then.
So it wasn't even that different. But yeah, you're right.
Right. And did you ever have any topics you wanted to make a video on, or just like weren't able to, or decided to not?
I counted this actually, just in preparation for this interview thing. I counted 111. So there's a lot of videos that I could have made, but most of them are garbage. Like I don't make videos for every idea that comes, because they'd likely just not be entertaining. Like they're not fleshed out, or they're inconclusive. So like, let's go with an example of not fleshed out. I had a video on speed mapping that I wanted to make, where I mapped a TV size song in about like an hour, and I analyzed what went wrong due to mapping quickly. And a lot of that was talking about like the role of intuition in mapping, and explaining that time doesn't make a map better. Which sounds like a cool idea, but it ended up being like anyone could come to these conclusions. It's obvious stuff. So it needed like more meat before becoming a real video. Then like an inconclusive kind of video is we're gonna need visuals for this. This example is too dumb. I call it the spooky pixel. So maybe some mappers know what I'm talking about. I've never seen anyone talking about it because it is really dumb. But so it's this pixel that appears on sliders in the editor and in game, but it's inconsistent between hardware, and I'm not sure what technical thing causes it, and it likely isn't interesting. But it could be interesting if like the journey to discovering what it is interesting, so I didn't like scrap it as a video idea entirely. That sort of thing. I really gotta show you what this is. It is the least relevant thing of all time to mapping.
So do you have any, because you also haven't like made any videos in a while. Is there a reason for that?
I've just been doing other things. I don't know.
Fair enough.
I mean, I could be making more videos. I kind of want to make more videos, but I don't want to I don't want to do them weekly, because that took up all my time basically. So like after I stopped making videos, I started doing a lot of other things like in Osu and outside of Osu. And I think those have been pretty productive, I'd say. Like I learned a lot of programming stuff and a lot of, not much else, but we'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And what got you to start doing like interview kind of videos, like with other mappers and stuff?
Oh, I was just like, I wanted to know what other mappers were thinking, because I respond to feedback I get on videos by making different kinds of videos. So a lot of people were telling me like, okay, we've heard your opinions on this and this and this and this and this. Great. What about other people? So I wanted to make videos about what other people were thinking about. But they're a lot different than these kinds of interview videos. I think the videos I was making were more like, I had a sort of narrative or whatever that I was trying to get across, and I'd be asking the mapper very specific questions that sort of had a very clear through line sort of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you had a topic and just had a guest to help you with it.
Yeah, that sort of thing. It was mostly people who had experience in the thing that I did not have experience in. I know one interview video I really want to do is like a Osu stream video, because, okay, I'm not going to spoil anything here. Never mind. If I'm going to make this video, I'm not going to talk about it.
I was invested, man.
I know. I'm sorry.
All right. No, don't worry about it. Just building up some hype.
I have some other videos, though. They're coming.
Okay, I can't wait. And what is the journey you took from like being a beginning mapper to starting to get like more of your maps ranked and getting into like the BAT, BN, Q8, all that stuff, and to where you are now?
Well,
like walk us through that.
That's a very, very long story, I guess. It's like asking for my life story.
We have
here.
time.
We have time. You're right. So I already explained how I got into the BAT originally. I modded maps of people who became part of the BAT at the same time, and then they voted me in. People who haven't been mapping so long, which is probably like a lot of people listening to this, probably aren't aware, but BAT is a Beatmap Appreciation Team, which is the old name for Beatmap Nominators. So recruitment way back then was a lot more relaxed than it is now. So I joined basically without knowing much. Like, I had modded some maps from other bats, and they're like, okay, sure. And I remember, this is like, man, people were so bad back then. They'd go looking for bats, their maps, and they'd mod them, being like, hey, vote for me, by the way. And it would work so much. It's so bad.
So there wasn't like a kind of like a test or anything? You just
No, there was not.
Interesting.
It was literally you got 15 votes and then you're in. Okay, you have to have a certain amount of modding activity, but if you got the votes was the hard part. Where was I? So, okay, I joined the BAT. BAT changed to BN and a bunch of stuff happened. But while I was there, being in a position with that little amount of skill made me really try to buckle down and learn what was going on, because if I didn't, I would be kicked. So I was very cautious, and I only bubbled like 2 or 3 maps a month and received no disqualifications, yay, which was a lot harder to do back then because there was an actual quality assurance system going on. So as time went on and I learned more, I got a lot more like I felt like I knew everything, which is a bad idea. And that led me to make choices that later got me removed from the BN. So a few months later, I started making videos and handled my front-facing self a little more not like a retard, you know? And so soon after that, I rejoined the BN, because at that point there was a test. I had to pass a test, don't know. And then I was invited to the QAT like a month later. So within the QAT, by the way, is quality assurance team. When did that change? It was like a year ago.
Yeah, it was around
it's not that old.
A little bit over a year, I think.
Yeah, so within the QAT, I did like nothing of significance. I made people mad sometimes. There were some regular chores, whatever. Nothing important. Until like 2019, when I got really pissed off by how inefficient all QAT activities were handled. Because everything was a spreadsheet, and they were just so slow. There was no automation. Everything was manual, and I'm like, guys, this is such a waste of time. Like, people were putting so many hours into making these things that a computer could do instantly.
Right.
It was dumb. So I decided to program.
I say we need to start speeding things up here.
Yeah, exactly. Not even speeding things up, just like there was a pace at which things had to go, because BN apps were like every 3 months or something. So they got things done on time. It's just, it took so long. It was so bad. Yeah. So anyway, I decided to program a website with the mapper Milan. He doesn't like how I pronounce his name. And that basically optimized everything. So when that launched, the QAT was renamed to the NAT, and yeah, Was that my mapping journey? That was Mapping's mapping journey. I forgot where I switched off there. But anyway, anything else you want to know on that? That's a very broad topic, so I don't know.
I mean, hey, so what do you do as an NAT now?
Okay. Well, first we should probably mention the NAT stands for Nomination Assessment
yep.
Team. Yeah. I don't do any nomination assessment at all, like the NAT are supposed to do. Because okay, see, when the QAT turned into the NAT, they what was it? Mao was the NAT or QAT leader at the time. He asked all the QAT, "Hey, do you want to join the NAT or do you want to go to BN or GMT or whatever?" So I'm like, I don't want to be QAT anymore, or because I wasn't doing anything very productive as QAT. Just make me a BN. I'm fine with that. And so everyone responded to this. They moved everyone to wherever they requested, and then they're like, "Except you, pishifat, you get to stay NAT." And I'm like, "What?" No. So I don't do any nomination assessment at all. I just maintain the website that I just talked about, which involves a lot more regular upkeep than I would have expected initially. Like, I submit updates to the GitHub repo like every few days. And yeah, that's one thing. That's probably the biggest thing I do for the QAT, or for the NAT, sorry. I'm usually the one to finalize ranking criteria amendments for some reason. I don't know why I do it. I just do it. And there are some other things that are sometimes happening. They're not really worth mentioning. Very inconsistent.
Yeah, fair enough. That's cool. And are there any things like you are working on right now and the changing also, like things you want to see changed?
Things I want to see changed. I'd rather do the things than talk about the things that I want to do. Because if I talk about the things I want to do, it's like, it feels like I did it. Yay. But that means I don't end up doing it, and that sucks. So a lot of the time I end up just doing a lot of things. I like things that mappers can do, such as like the Mappers Guild or consistent mapping contests. I've been doing those. People don't like those, but I've been doing them anyway. I wish I could participate. I am going to keep doing it because like the point of it is not to make like a perfect mapping contest from day one. I don't know how many people recognize this, but like the point of doing it monthly is so that every month when people complain, I change it to something else. So I've been doing that. Yeah, so it's really hard to make people aware of that though. Osu Mapcast listeners, now you know. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to do a safe contest, you do like the same format that everyone else has been doing. But I really want to do something that implements the community vote feature, because that's been like completely unused for mapping contests, probably for rightful reason. But I'd rather, like, okay, it tracks who's voting for things. It tracks like everything about them, so I know how many ranked maps each person voting has, so I can change who wins based on stats like that. And that's like, I could make a proper mapping contest from that if I really wanted to. So I want to. So I'm doing that. I'm attempting that. It's going. What else is there? What else would I like changed in Osu? I'd like to see better spread of mapping information. I tried this for a while, as you're aware. I made YouTube videos. Better spread? I mean, like, so more people are aware of mapping related things. Oh, so better spread of mapping information. I mean, like, so there's this thing about mapping that I really don't like, where everything that's important or everything that's interesting is like hidden from the randoms, basically. So like everyone talks about their coolest mapping ideas in closed circles, or they have stuff that they're thinking about on Twitter. And to follow people on Twitter, you have to follow so many people on Twitter. I don't want to follow everyone on Twitter. If you're a dedicated mapper already, you probably don't notice this because you see everything. But I don't know. I feel like as time has gone on, I've like distanced myself from a lot of all this internal mapping discussion between mappers. So I don't see as much of it anymore. And that's kind of disappointing for me, because I'd like people to spread their knowledge in public ways, accessible ways, preferably, like YouTube videos. I like those. Yeah. That's why I like the Osu Mapcast, because they're spreading the map and info to the randoms, like me.
Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. Alright, and then what are some experiences you've had with like the featured artist section? Because I know like you work on that some.
Okay. Well, I don't think many people are aware because I don't really like publicize it, but most of the featured artist things behind the scenes are handled by me. Like, okay, I don't make the news posts and I don't put the actual files on the website, and I don't do that part. I do like the communications part. So I'm the one to contact artists. I send lots of emails and do phone calls very rarely to pitch the program and get people on board. So I think it's been every artist minus one or two for the last 6 months, and every artist for the next 6 months and probably longer is going to be coordinated by me. So as for experiences, it's cool to see like how different artists handle the process. Like I don't really know if this is what you're expecting from this question, but like some artists go through their labels and that complicates things. So like the longest ongoing discussion we've had was like 6 months. And that takes a long time. It's really annoying to talk about the same thing for that long. And then like on the other hand, the shortest one was like less than a day. So it's very interesting to see how people do this stuff. If you're talking more on the mapping side of things, which you probably are, the Mappers Guild ended up making featured artist maps a nearly daily occurrence in the ranked section. So that's cool. I used to struggle a lot with the Mappers Guild because like it was a smaller group and we had deadlines, and if people didn't meet the deadlines, I'd map for them, which is why I have like for a year-long period, I have so many featured artist maps, just guess difficulties spit out every few days. It was bad. yeah. But since the Mappers Guild went public like a year ago, I've stopped that, and it's been running strong with way more maps than before. So yeah, seeing that kind of growth is very cool to me. That's a cool experience with the featured artist program.
That is really cool, yeah. And what is like, how is the process of getting featured artists? Like you just like send them a message, say, hey, you want to be a featured artist, or like what goes into that?
It's a lot more legal stuff related. So like you give them some, it depends on who you're talking to, but higher level companies will be like, what are your terms? And we provide the terms, and they're like, let's get approval with this person and this person. There's master and sync licensing. They're different things. So one is like the actual recording of the song, and the other one is like the notes on paper, that sort of thing. So I don't think we need to go into the legal details of this, but it's like it's a lot of you tell them a thing, they tell you, hey, I'll get back to you on that, blah 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 blah. Hey, I'm back to you on that. Change this and this and this and this. Things happen. Okay. They're like back and forths of like 20 emails, I'd say.
Makes sense. I also do find like it really impressive how like now there's like a new featured artist every week, and that's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It is.
Do you have any hints for the next featured artist?
Do I have any hints? Well, it'll be on Wednesday. There's your hint.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so what are some major ways you've seen the game progress over the years of you being part of it? Like, you know, specifically in mapping.
Well, there's been a lot of structural changes to the map nomination system. I'm sure you're aware.
Of course.
I joined right after the start of what I consider the most engaging time to be a mapper in Modder, which was the BAT-QAT split, because there were constant changes when Locktab was in control. And now that's slowed down pretty considerably, though. I'd like it to go like back to that, just because it was a complete mess. It was a complete mess. It was really bad, but it was really fun, I'd say. So I wish people would be more like accepting of change for the sake of change, which sounds bad when you say it like that, but it's just fun. I like it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Keep things interesting, you know?
Yeah, keep things fresh. For map design, let's see, I was able to see like the rise of PP optimization since PPv2 was put into place like right after I joined the game, and I participated in making some PP oriented maps and had fun trying to abuse star rating. I know this is like super frowned upon because PP bad, but it's really normal for people in a video game to try to optimize, so like I haven't thought so negatively on it like some people have. And of course there's been like loosening of requirements. Things that weren't allowed in the past became fine, and it's pretty clear that what's bad in mapping is entirely based on community acceptance and repetition. So like if one thing or if one bad thing appears, it's really bad. But if it happens like 10 more times, it's like, whatever. It's normal now. Okay.
It becomes accepted.
Yeah, yeah. And so there's lots of things that if you took this way of mapping back a few years, it's like, whoa, bro, delete this, please. But now it's like, that's gold right there. I love it. And so it makes me, I don't know, it makes me think a lot differently about the quality of mapping versus when I started mapping in like 2014.
That's cool. And would you say the community has changed, like, notably since you've joined? And, like, in what kind of ways has it changed?
I don't know. Not so much. Like, people are different because people come and go all the time. So specifics change a lot, but the way things progress has always been, like, the same. Like, there's always characters that people like or people hate or they respect or ridicule and all that stuff. And their influences on the community are similar despite being different people at different times. So in general, most people are friendly and there's lots of memers, and that's how it's always been. Now Discord exists, so you can like find friend groups more easily, and that's cool, I guess. Yeah.
And speaking of Discord, Osu Mapcast Discord.
Yeah, spit out the URL. Say it right now. G W6, etc.
Exactly. All right. And so what do you still enjoy about Osu? Like, what keeps you still a part of this game after so many years of just working on it and doing stuff in it?
I guess like Osu has what I'd say the most accessible ecosystem of any game. And a game with a comparable audience, at least. Like, I can have a direct influence on the ranking process. I can create tools for featured artist mappers that receive daily use. I can create a mapping contest and host it on the front page newsfeed thing. I can do a lot of stuff. If I were good at math, I could fix the PP system and a lot of things. There's a lot of things that you can do without restrictions on this game. Whereas, like, having come from playing Call of Duty all the time, you can't do anything there. Like, you can play the game, but you're stuck with whatever exists. So I like being able to do whatever I feel like and not be restricted about it. So yeah, there's always something for me to do beyond playing the game, and that's nice.
Right. And I guess so we've come to the golden question right now, because if there's anyone to ask, it's probably you. So what is your greatest advice for newer mappers?
Oh no. This is like, I don't know. See, you asked me at different times, I'm going to have different answers. Like, right now, my answer is probably going to be different than it was like a month ago. Like, take note of a mapping technique or a pattern, either from like hearing someone talk about it or finding it in a map yourself, and try to apply it to your own mapping. And I don't really mean like big gimmicky things like okay, I don't have an example. I don't mean big gimmicky things. I think it's more effective for really small patterns, like 2 or 3 object patterns, and trying to implement those in your map. And like, it makes you think about how this pattern can play, how it can fit visually in whatever you're doing, how it can anything mapping related, I don't know. And so yeah, I struggle a lot with recognizing and applying patterns to maps, but now that's how I get inspired to make maps. So maybe it's valuable advice. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when you make your map based on this advice, Cinnabun. Let's do it.
Hey, that's really cool.
Okay, good.
All right, so I guess we're coming to a close here. This has been really cool. So are there any final things you want to mention or talk about? Anything?
Let's see. I get lots of questions saying, when are you making your next video, pishifat? And I don't have an answer. I posted like on a random map thread that I'm making a video, and I guess people have found it now, and it's like, oh man. I had the video, okay, but then I recorded it, I edited the audio, I recorded the video, I did the storyboard sort of thing that I do, and then I was like editing it, and it's like, wow, this point sucks. And so I have to rewrite it, and I have to go through all of that again, and it's like, wow, I haven't done that yet. I have a few other videos that I want to make, but I really want to get that one out first, because it's the most obnoxious video possible. And I think that's a good comeback video. What else? I don't know. I have nothing else to say. Huh?
Hey, I said just hyping up the video right now.
I'm just hyping it up as the worst video you'll see.
Nah, I'm sure it'll be great. All right. And so we have the final question. I'm sure you know of it. And that is, will you nominate my map?
Is it a featured artist song?
No.
No. Go away. Goodbye.
Okay, I'm sorry. Bye. All right, so this has been episode 10. I want to give a big thank you for pishifat for joining me. I really appreciate it, man.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me be here.
Of course. And it being episode 10, kind of a little bit of a milestone, I guess. I want to say thank you to my editors who've been helping out with this. Leon, Lotus, Mikasa, you guys know who you are, and it wouldn't be possible without you. And I really appreciate it. And also, we have another supporter giveaway. So if you want to enter it, you stuck around this long, so you might as well try it. Just leave a comment down below, and we'll pick you next week and announce the winner. I want to say thank you again. I appreciate it, pishifat. And yeah, we'll see you later.
Bye.